On my wedding day, I woke up with my dress hanging on the door and a message from Diego on my phone screen saying everything was canceled, that he couldn't marry someone who had lied to him about his own child. I felt a hard blow in my chest and my hands started shaking. In the kitchen, my mother was making coffee as if it were any ordinary Sunday, unaware of the noise the message had left inside my head. 2 years earlier, a pregnancy test had come out positive in the bathroom of the apartment we shared. Diego lifted me from the floor and spun me around, talking about extra shifts, a crib by the window, and a future that would be hard but ours. I smiled, even though the fear hurt inside me. That afternoon, my mother waited for me outside the real estate office where I worked and made me get into her car without letting him come near. Inside the car, she reminded me that she paid half my rent, that the car was in her name, and that thanks to her, I had a steady job. She said that a baby with a guy with no money and no last name would ruin my life, that I would end up alone with a child in my arms while Diego disappeared. She made me choose between going to a clinic or losing her keys, her roof, and her support. The next day, she took me to a private clinic on the outskirts of the city. I signed papers with frozen hands without really reading them, and then I only remember white lights, the smell of disinfectant, and a new emptiness in the center of my body. In the parking lot, my mother slipped the receipt into my bag and ordered me to repeat that the test had been wrong, that the doctor had said I had never been pregnant, and that if I told the truth, I would be left without a home or a job. Diego was waiting for me at the building entrance with a bag of sweet bread and a notebook where he had written possible names. I told him it had all been a lab mistake and saw his shoulders sink as he put the notebook into his back pocket. That night, he hugged my flat belly and promised that when we were better off, we would try again. I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep so I wouldn't feel the guilt. Over time, Diego got a better position and we moved to a small apartment downtown. He worked many hours, but he still came home with a tired smile and plans for us. A year later, he kneeled in the middle of a living room with a simple ring and said he wanted a family with me. I felt the confession stuck in my throat, but I thought about my mother's threats, about the bills still in her name, and I just said yes. The wedding was organized quickly. Between guest lists, payments, and visits to the venue, the truth was buried under flowers and invoices. Every time I tried to talk to Diego, my mother appeared at the office with folders, called me a responsible daughter, and whispered that I shouldn't ruin everything over a mistake from the past, that he would never understand what we had done. On the eve of the wedding, I left my bag open. The clinic receipt was still hidden at the bottom. Diego looked for my cream. The envelope fell. He opened it and read it while I was in the shower. When I came out, he was already packing his clothes into a suitcase, and the ring was resting on the nightstand. At dawn, his message arrived, saying he couldn't build a family on that secret, and I was left alone with the dress hanging and the weight of my guilt taking the place where the love of my life used to be.